Okay, in today's lesson we will write expressions. This is notes for 1.6. So get out your notebook and let's get started. Make sure you have the title and the date. To write algebraic expressions, take a word phrase and translate it into a math phrase. We're going to use numbers, variables, and mathematical operation symbols. All right? Here we have a chart that you should put into your notebook. You can either print this out or you can copy it into your notebook. And I just want to point out a few things. So here are addition words. These are common words that you will, when you see them in a sentence, you're going to translate that into an addition sign. Subtraction, here are the subtraction words. Here are the multiplication words. Twice, quadruple, triple, and so on. Here are division. Notice the word per and quotient of. And then an equal sign. Here are common words used for the equal sign. And what we're going to be doing is taking problems, word problems, phrases, and putting them into algebraic expressions. So you're going to have to be able to take these words and put them into a math sentence, basically. Now down here we have what we call turnaround words. Turnaround words means that you're going to switch the order of the phrase. And the turnaround words are from and than. So an example would be if you see 5 less than a number x, 5 less than a number x, well, you have than in this. Less than means you're not going to take 5 and subtract x. 5 less than a number x, you're going to actually switch that into x minus 5. So you want to watch out for what I call switch words or turnaround words. Also, twice, the other word is from. So if you have twice y from 13, twice y means 2y, from 13 means I'm going to subtract it from 13. But so you wouldn't do this, you would have to actually switch it and put the 13 first. Let's look at some examples. Okay, so here are some examples of phrases that we want to turn into algebraic expressions. So 4 times, that's easy, 4 times a number n. Anytime you see a number n, you're just going to put n. So it can look like that, it could look like this, and the more correct way in algebra is just to write it like that, 4 times a number n, 4n. So this is the one I'm really looking for. All right, number 2, the sum, that means to add, sum of a number x and 9. So that just means the sum of x and 9. Now we have a number y decreased by 5. So you're just going to put this in order. Y is decreased by, that's a subtraction, 5. Here, number 4, we have 8 less than a number c. So remember the word than is a switch word. So instead of doing 8 minus c, that would be incorrect. You're going to do c minus 8. So you reverse it. Same with number 5. 3 less than 5, than is a switch word. So 3 less than 5 times z. So in this one, you're not really sure. Let's see, you're going to do 3 less than 5 times z. So I'm going to do 5 times z first, 5z, 5 times z, and then put the minus 3. So 3 less than, that means you're going to switch it, 5 times z. All right, 6, twice the sum of 15 and x. Now notice it's twice the sum. So that means I have to add 15 plus x first and get that, and then I'm going to multiply it by 2. So that means I need parentheses here and a 2. So twice the sum of 15 and x. All right, here we have a little bit of a longer one. So 30 is increased by, that means I'm adding, 3 times the square of n. So 30 is being increased by 3 times the square of n, so 3, then I have to square n. So 3 times the square of n. All right, number 8, 1/3 the cube of z. So there's a couple of ways you can do this one. So 1/3 of means to multiply, right? So 1/3, there is no of. Oh well. 1/3 the cube of z. That would be that. So 1/3 the cube of z. So 1/3 times the z cubed. You could also do z cubed divided by 3, although it doesn't really say that, so this is more correct. Okay, so that's translating phrases into algebraic expressions. So you're going to be required to do that, so make sure that you look at that chart that we had on the previous slide. Now we have to be able to write an expression for different situations. So here we have a situation and we want to write an expression for it. The number of tokens that are needed for V video games if each game takes 4 tokens. So you're going to play video games. V is how many video games you're going to play, and each video game takes 4 tokens. How would I write that expression? I would just take 4 tokens times the number of video games, and that's your answer. Number 10, the number of days left in the week if D days have passed so far. So on this one, the number of days left in a week if D days have passed so far. So all you would do is take the number of days in a week, which is 7, and subtract D days. And if you do that, then you end up with how many days are left. Pretty simple. All right, now we're going to talk about rates and unit rates. So a rate is a fraction that compares two quantities measured in different units. And a unit rate is when the denominator of the fraction is 1. So make sure these are in your notes. All right, let's look at some examples. So we have a currency over measure. For example, $2.50 divided by 1 gallon is equal to $2.50 per gallon. So this would be a rate. And it's also going to be a unit rate because the denominator is 1. So you have 2 different units, currency and measure. You're dividing it out to find a rate. So this is an example of a rate. And then this is another rate if you take distance and divide it by time. So if you go 220 miles in 4 hours, that would give me 55 miles per hour if I'm dividing everything by 4. And because there's a 1 down here in the denominator, this is the unit rate. The unit rate is 55 miles an hour. This is just a rate. This is a rate and a unit rate. So know the difference between, know what a rate is and know what a unit rate is. Let's look at some examples. Alright, so on this one it says find the unit rate for each situation. So if we have a car that travels 132 miles in 2 hours, and I would ask you to find the unit rate. And all you would have to do is this. Take the distance and divide it by time. So 130 divided by 2, and you get 66 miles per hour. So the unit rate is 66 miles an hour. Okay, so here's an example of a question. So you need to write this in your notes. This is in your notes. So when you're taking notes, you do have to write a little bit more than normal because the notes are going to be your guide on what to do with the problem. So you do need to have this entire thing written in your notes. All right, so let's look at this. It says your basic monthly charge for cell phone service is $30, which includes 300 free minutes. You pay a fee for extra minutes that you use. In 1 month, you paid $3.75 for 15 extra minutes. What is the unit rate? So write that question down, and then what is the unit rate per extra minute? So to find the unit rate for extra minutes, you take the $3.75 that you paid for the 15 extra minutes and divide it by 15. So if I divide this by 15, I get 25 cents per 1 minute. So that's the unit rate, is 25 cents per minute. Okay, now it says, write an algebraic expression to generalize the phone plan. Alright, so we're going to look up into the problem, and it says our monthly charge for cell phone service is $30. So our phone plan includes the $30, which is 300 free minutes, but then we pay a fee. So we don't pay any extra for the $300. So the $30 includes the 300 free minutes, and then we're going to pay 25 cents. We take our unit rate, and we're going to multiply that times the number of extra minutes. So this is an expression that generalizes our phone plan and what we have to pay. So $30 plus 25 cents a minute. Then it says find your total bill if you use 22 extra minutes. So we would take the 30 and add 0.25 times the extra minutes, which is 22. And then we would solve, and we have to do order of operations, so we would do that first. So if you multiply this out, you get $5.50 extra plus the $30 that you pay every month. So the answer would be $35.50. Okay, if you have questions about this, make sure you put a little question mark and ask me when you get to class. All right, let's keep going. Actually, that's it for your lesson. So what did we do today? We talked about algebraic expressions and being able to write an expression from a situation and from a phrase. And then we talked about rates and unit rates and being able to calculate a unit rate, and then also to write an algebraic expression using the unit rate in a problem. Okay, if you have any questions, write them down, and I will see you in class.